Hello, I'm going to do a little workshop tour on my cell phone, so I hope you enjoy it. Here is my office. I don't spend nearly enough time here. It always looks like this. I need a secretary. Most of my admin happens on this table. This is also where we feed the workshop cats. Platform scale. This is the big storeroom. Through here, it's a woodworking shop. Big sliding table saw. So, Italian thickness planer. This is the oldest woodworking machine I think we've got. It dates from the 50s. Got it, the motor burnt out after 30 years standing in this position, so we're having an entire rebuild on it. Sanding machine, homemade sanding machine we got somewhere. Chinese white belt sander and another Chinese sander. This is the big jointer. No idea who made it, but it's a fantastic machine. The Walker Turner rip saw. This is a spray room. All our painting happens in here. It's impossible to keep this place clean. Here we've got the spindle. This is a beaver table saw. Drill press. An old Watkin overhead router that we had to make our own head for. Works very well. This is a clamping table using to clamp big boards. This thing is a mortising machine. It makes things like that in wood. And the companion machine is a tenener that makes that. One of the many trolleys in the workshop, with many shelves. A little jolly combination machine. Jointer, very nice little toy. One bandsaw. A wire bender. Bend stainless steel like that, pneumatically. Rubber bandsaw. And guillotine that need to be rebuilt. Now a drill press. Coupled delta scroll saw. A very old spindle that's been converted into a router table. There's an underbelt sander, and the day that thing moves out of my life I will be very glad. And one of the 3 compressors in the workshop. Here is the metalworking area. It's a very old cast iron Swedish power hacksaw. One thing I'm busy working on rebuilding is a Steinel spin riveter. I've never used one before. I'm really looking forward to using this. Lots of little shelves and junk and tools and stuff, but I think mostly junk. We don't talk about that. Unimat lathe. One workbench. Grinder. This is a Myford lathe. Homemade tool and cutter grinder, and a cheapy little sanding machine. It actually works quite well. There's another little grinder, milling machine, and a Colchester lathe. And lots of little shelves with screws in. A little hydraulic press I'm working on. And a nice big grinder. Now a drill press this side. One Nemo. I outbid a scrap metal dealer in this in auction. I still think I should have let him win, but it's fine. A little horizontal mill. Also wanted an auction, but I think $12, R120 was perfectly fine. Out here is basically permanent degreasing setup and baths. Raskin 20-ton eccentric press. A Cook Shipley milling, horizontal milling machine. And a little 4-ton eccentric press. Also a scrapyard find. Oxyacetylene setup. Copper. Nice big vise. This is my little Brooks anvil. And a very messed up welding table. It's going to become a tong and hammer stand. Another workbench. And a little grinder. A Gabbro sheet metal copper. A gear bed drilling machine. This is my belt grinder. This is a spot welder, 4+4mm, and a big old MIG welder. I think it dates from the early 1960s, I'm not sure. Gold saw. And a lot of steel lying on the floor. Probably the oldest machine in the workshop, I think, dated 1953, English mechanical guillotine. This is the only South African made machine in the workshop. Springs Industrial Machines, box bender. Another one of those imports, a Cincinnati polishing buff. I don't know if it's designed as a polishing buff, but we use it as a polishing buff. A little combination machine, not bad, can do up to 1mm, but 1mm is the absolute limit, so we don't use it very much. Lots of junk, slip roll. Found it at the scrapyard, use it about once a year. Little pneumatic presses there. This thing here is called the denibber. I hate it. Not allowed to say that. This is a Trumpf nibbler, also a very old machine. I got it set up for making little domes. I made this little ball on it. It's quite cool. Through here, one day I desperately need a sellotape dispenser. It's now 20 years old. Screen printing machine. Besides 2 pneumatic presses for glue ups and stuff. Our workbench. A homemade curtain coater. Homemade parts washer. This is mostly the junkyard. I played around with casting at one stage, so I've got a little furnace there. Burnout oven for investment casting, and the kiln, gas-fired kiln over there. I don't use them much. This is my bending table. So lots more junk here. My brother built himself a dinghy that's lying there. And since it never snows in South Africa, probably one of the only skidoos in South Africa is lying down there. It's a long story. This is a mechanical lathe, pedal lathe. Some rollers. Down here is my junk pile. Up here is my kayak. I built this from wood and canvas from very old plans. Behind it is an old wood turning lathe. On post vices that's not wood. Old veneer press. A jointer, a shaper, and scrap. And there's a steel rack as well, but I don't store steel here for the practical reason it rusts. Through here, outside again. That these days gonna become my forge chimney one day. Right. One very mixed up, dirty little storeroom. I want to make this a dedicated knife making workshop one day. One day, promise. And through here, there's another storeroom. All our little production bolts and nuts get stored here. This is my forge and my extraction fan for my gas forge. Stand outside. Here is my little hydraulic press. Set up with a die set with drawing out dies. Works nicely if your metal's hot enough. Wood lathe. This is my steel table. 1-inch top. Here this is a big CNC router. There's aluminium mold being made on this, not me. Another little workbench of a vise. I've counted once, we've got about 12 vices in this place. This is the old CNC router, but it stopped sort of working, so we modified it and put a plasma torch on it. So we do CNC plasma cutting here, like that thing there. It takes about 2 minutes to cut that entire thing, but quicker than by hand. We here, packaging, assembly area. There's an old dowel drilling machine, and this is also a screen printing machine. Doesn't work. And then assembly tables and junk and another drill press. And since we are really wet in this place, a Norwegian dog sled with some cross-country skis down there. Don't ask. This is the workbench I'm working on. Underpinner for making frames. A Japanese style box bellows and forge. Oh, there's my bucket of tongs. And my little power hammer that hasn't worked for the past year because it's broken. I have to really repair it this time and I don't have time. This is my little fly press and the little scrappy anvil and very mixed up shelves. Don't ask. And a big anvil with a small little surface flaw in it. I don't understand it either. That's the way I got it at the scrapyard. I'm not going to complain. And lots of junk and more junk and more junk. So dark. And this is my gas forge. I really need to make new burners one day. This one's now 10 years old. My gas tanks. This is my post vise and the little heat treatment forge at the back side. And another post vise. And this is my big anvil, the one I use always for production. That's my favorite hammer. And I think that's it. Now you've seen more of this place than I really wanted you to see.